I'm popping in today to talk about a few things, namely the flu and coronavirus and everything that's happening kind of in the world and the chronic community right now. But before I dive into that, I do want to share really briefly before I forget that April is Adrenal Disease Awareness Month, which is really awesome. It's a great opportunity for us to share and connect with the world and let others know and bring about awareness to adrenal disease. And the National Adrenal Disease Foundation and the American Association for Endocrine Surgeons are teaming up to do a live Twitter questionnaire kind of situation. And I'll have more information on that as they share it as time gets closer. But they are inquiring about what types of questions to ask. And they have some that are already set with a little survey. I'll attach below. If you have time or you have adrenal disease, it took me like 3 seconds to answer. If you could just fill out the quick survey so that way they are making sure to utilize that time for that live Q&A on questions that we in the adrenal community find necessary and important to talk about. So that's first. So please take that survey if you have a moment of time. Second of all, before I dive right into talking about the flu, I just want to reiterate that I am not a medical professional. I'm just a little chronic wellness warrior over here, taking it a day at a time and just sharing what I'm learning or doing along the way in hopes that it supports others on their own personal journey. So know that what I'm sharing is just what I am doing or practicing or understand. It's not fact. And that's that. Just gotta get that out of the way. So recently someone was asking me about flu and preparedness and what to do about the flu. And then oddly enough, that was prior to coronavirus. And then more and more things are just popping up, and I feel like it's kind of important to talk about that right now because preparedness is part of it, and moving through it when you have it is another component. So I just want to share what I'm doing and what I understand and what I know. So if you go back through, I guess I can put it down below as well. There is a video that I made in conjunction with the National Adrenal Disease Foundation a while back on emergency preparedness, disaster preparedness. That applies to things with the coronavirus right now, or when things are happening that could potentially be a disaster situation. That is a great video to utilize and to revisit, talking about all the medical things to have on hand, all the additional life things to do in preparation of something, because it's always good to be safe. So that's a great video to revisit, as well as there is a link in there of the disaster preparedness document of what is suggested to have on hand as someone with adrenal disease. And people in general. It's just great to be prepared. That's something to visit. I had the flu earlier this year, so I can share a bit about that, because that was my first time having the flu in years. First time having the flu since having Addison's disease, which we all know, hopefully we know in the adrenal community, that having the flu is very, very detrimental for our compromised immune systems. When basic breakdown with Addison's disease or some adrenal disease, we have to take steroids to survive. We need the steroids to live. If we have the flu and we are throwing up or not able to keep the medicine in our body, we can't survive. So the emergency injection becomes necessary, intravenous steroids become necessary, and attacking as quickly as possible becomes essential in order to stay healthy, alive, and survive. So earlier this year, I got the flu. My partner had it. It was coming through Austin, and so we kind of knew it was possible. I work with children a lot. I do a lot of private yoga and a lot of private Reiki sessions, so I'm interacting with people constantly. we thought it was a possibility, and we're just trying to be prepared. I will say we were not as prepared when it hit, but we are now. And so I'm going to share the steps that we've done now. When we initially got it, we quarantined ourselves. This was just the regular flu, but it was hitting our community pretty hard, and people were getting knocked out for 12 to 15 days at a time. And that's just healthy people. So my partner got it, and we kind of quarantined from each other as much as we could in a small 1-bedroom. And everything was fluids and vitamins, and healing through food is always my first primary goal. So bone broths, vitamin C, liquids, coconut water, all of those heavy hydrating things, in addition to the medications that he was taking. I checked my temperature every single day, and finally ended up with a fever and knew that the flu was coming in. And what I actually did for this situation was I had pre-called my endocrinologist. If you have a good relationship with your endo, I highly recommend this, or your primary care physician, whoever's treating you or working with you. I had pre-communicated with my endocrinologist saying, my partner has the flu. It is very likely I'm going to end up with it. Can you call me in something so if it happens, I can take it immediately and knock this virus out or this flu out before it really affects me, so that I don't end up in the hospital. So we did that. So as soon as I got the flu, we went and picked up Zofluza. I believe that's what it was called. Zofluza is what I ended up taking. And I'm not normally a medicine person, other than my natural things or my required medicines, like my steroids to stay alive. Otherwise, I always do the homeopathic method with colds, with anything else, just because I want to support my body as best way possible. But when it comes to the flu, I'm not going to mess around. I'm sure, as all of us, have fear of ending up with the flu, with Addison's disease and adrenal disease, because we hear so many times of people battling and not surviving afterwards because they're not able to get enough medication into their system because they're constantly throwing up or not able to keep any fluids in. So I didn't want to mess around. Took Zofluza. My flu was gone in 3 days, and it was amazing. My partner literally still had it afterwards. So it knocked out immediately. However, that's not always the case or possible. So what I'm doing now to prepare is in conjunction with everything that's going on. And I could go on a little soapbox here for a minute. A lot of people are giving other people flack for, I don't want to say panicking, but for talking about the possibilities with coronavirus or what could happen. And I feel like I've been getting a little bit of sass from healthy people, mind you, about what I'm doing to prepare. And I'm so over that, and I don't have time and energy to communicate what I'm doing and or fight with people. But at the end of the day, us immune compromised individuals, we aren't as lucky as the healthier people, because if something happens or a virus comes or something, we do not have the ability to fight it off in a way that other people do. And so for them, perhaps it's not as scary, but for us, it's quite alarming, because our systems just can't fight as hard. It's as simple as that. So I won't go off on that because that's wild. However, here's what I'm doing to prepare, because you never know what happens, and it's great to be safe. I live in, and I've shared this before, I live in my mask all the time. Not all the time, but quite frequently, especially during allergy season, and because if I'm in big crowded environments like concerts or traveling, I will wear my mask because it protects me and my immune system. I'm wearing it quite a bit more right now just because allergies are really high and because there is so much cold and flu going around. Highly recommend it. If you have one, I know there's a lot of people being like, don't use one if you're not healthy, or if you're a healthy individual. Honestly, I have mine and wear it all the time, and I'm so grateful that I do, and I feel like it's protected me on so many occasions. So I have that. I have made a little emergency kit as far as food and water and things go, which is kind of a part of the disaster relief thing. But I did this because a while back there was a water shortage or water issue in our area, and a gas issue. There's been so many things, and people freak out, and supplies are limited, and then you're in trouble. And when you are immune compromised and you already have limited ability to go out and track down food or water or medicine, do it when you can. So I've made a little kit so that way if the flu hits us again, like it did earlier this year, because we couldn't go anywhere. We had to have people drop stuff off to us and leave it at the door when we had the flu. And you can't rely on other people in every situation. So taking it into our own hands, I keep pointing this way because it's like in the closet. The primary thing is electrolytes. I got baby Pedialyte because infant Pedialyte was cheaper than adult. So that's what I did. I got the non-flavored. I got a bunch of those, coconut water, bone broth, all of those great, and then a bunch of water as well, because when you have the flu, it is so essential to keep fluids going and going and going and keep the electrolytes up, especially with adrenal disease when we don't have the ability to retain water super well. I also have a massive backup stock of my hydrocortisone, my fludrocortisone, and I have 3 emergency injection kits on site with me, which is enough for me. I feel like some people need it quite more frequently. I've actually never had to use my injection. There's been 3 times when I should have and I didn't because I was still learning and nervous, which is why I think it's so important to talk about all these things and to encourage each other to take care of ourselves and take our steroids and do our injection when we need to. But I didn't really have that confidence at the time, and so I should have taken it, and it took me a very long time to recover. But so I have 3 emergency injection kits, as well as food, cold and flu medicine, and things to support that, particular vitamins, emergency packs. I got a bunch of arnica, which is pain and joint relief, because I struggle with bone pain and joint pain regularly, but when you have the flu, it is like 1,000 times worse. So I got things to support that. I have my hot water bottle pack, all of those body supportive things. Now, that's just what I'm doing at the house. What am I doing in the world? I'm practicing right now. So I'm a very touchy person. I think I express love through touch is one of my love languages. And I am trying very hard not to touch everything in the world because germs can live on anything, from anything, not just a particular virus. So I'm giving myself a lot of love by holding my own hands, holding my body, so that I don't touch my environment and touch other people and touch my face. Trying to do that. Anytime that I catch myself touching a surface or touching other people, the next time I'm in an opportunity to wash my hands, I do that pretty vigorously. Washing my hands, I'm showering every day, which as a spoonie is a lot. And for me personally, I wasn't an everyday shower, but I'm doing that because I'm feeling like I'm getting all the things off. An additional reminder, like I spend a lot of time with children who have a lot of immune compromised situations. So that's another reason I'm having to do this daily. I also recently had my first sitting shower. I think it's a spoonie superpower. I gotta get a stool because I don't have one now. I did it at this spa that I was at, and it was amazing. I don't ever want to stand shower again, so gotta get a stool. But showering every day is really great. Good supportive thing. And then make your own. I mean, I know there's hand sanitizer shortage right now and everyone's kind of panicking about it, but you can make your own. I can include a link below. It's very basic ingredients and actually better because then you're making your own and you can control what's inside of it. And just be mindful. Be so mindful of other people. If you don't feel well, don't put yourself out in a situation that is going to make you feel worse and or share potentially what you have with somebody else. We have to be careful, but we also have to be mindful is really the word, or protective is what I was going to say, but I feel like mindful is more appropriate about managing not feeling well and going out in the world. If that means canceling plans or canceling gigs or not going to work, fine. At the end of the day, it's better to protect yourself, save your spoons, and, you know, every day is a battle with a chronic illness. Every day you have no idea how you're going to feel, what's going to happen, what type of energy you're going to have. So the best way to approach it is just as we do everything, one day at a time. Be careful, listen to your body, and just go slow. Support yourself as best as you can. We want to remain in a state of comfort within yourself, of self-care. So because adrenal disease and Addison's disease robs us of our cortisol, or we don't have cortisol and we're taking steroids instead, which suppress our immune system, we want to support our happiness and our health in every way possible. So laugh, watch funny things, talk to funny people, boost your serotonin, you know, treat yourself to things that just make you very happy, and really go deep in the meditation right now. Lots of self-soothing there can be very supportive. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully this was supportive in some way, shape, or form. Full circle, please do the survey if you have time, so that way we can have answers to important questions that are important to us. Take care of yourself. Check out the emergency preparedness, disaster stuff. Make yourself happy. That's like rules to live by always. As always, thank you guys for being here. Light and love, all the spoons, and I hope you have a healthy and wonderful day.